Endometrial cancer may not get as much attention as other cancers, but for women, it's becoming one of the most important diseases to understand. In the United States, it has now become the most frequently diagnosed gynecologic cancer, and the numbers continue to climb. Since the 1990s, cases have increased by more than 50%, and doctors are now seeing it in women much younger than before, including women in their 30s and 40s. So the big question is, why is this happening? Is it connected to hormones, poor diet, chronic stress, inflammation, or is there something deeper driving this rise? At NanoNexus Science, we're diving into what modern research is uncovering about endometrial cancer, including who faces the greatest risk, how treatments are evolving, and what you can do to help your body defend itself naturally. To understand this cancer, you first need to understand the endometrium itself. The endometrium is the inner lining of the uterus. During a woman's reproductive years, this lining constantly changes. Every month, the body builds it up with the help of growing blood vessels in preparation for a possible pregnancy. If pregnancy does not occur, the lining breaks down and leaves the body during menstruation. Then the process starts all over again. This cycle repeats itself for decades. From the teenage years through menopause, the cells of the endometrium regenerate thousands of times. Normally, the body manages this process incredibly well. The tissue grows, sheds, repairs, and renews itself smoothly. But when something interferes with that balance, problems can begin. Hormonal disruption, chronic inflammation, exposure to toxins, environmental chemicals, or direct DNA damage can all increase the chances of mutations developing in those endometrial cells. Over time, those mutations may transform healthy cells into cancerous ones, leading to endometrial cancer. One of the challenges with this disease is that it can remain silent for a long time. Many women may not notice anything unusual until symptoms become more obvious. Still, there are warning signs that should never be ignored. Bleeding between periods, unusually heavy menstrual bleeding, or any bleeding after menopause can all signal that something abnormal may be happening inside the uterus. Other symptoms may include pelvic pressure, lower abdominal bloating, discomfort during intimacy, ongoing fatigue, or even anemia detected during routine blood work. These clues do not automatically mean cancer is present, but they are important signals that deserve medical attention. The good news is that when endometrial cancer is found early, treatment outcomes are often much better. In many cases, a doctor can begin with a physical exam, discuss symptoms, and if needed, perform a simple office biopsy that may quickly identify the problem. But why are cases increasing so dramatically today? Many people immediately think about genetics when cancer is mentioned, and genetics certainly can play a role. One inherited condition linked to endometrial cancer is called Lynch syndrome. This genetic mutation weakens the body's ability to repair damaged DNA, increasing the risk of several cancers, especially colon cancer and endometrial cancer. Although Lynch syndrome only accounts for a small percentage of cases, women who carry this mutation may face a lifetime endometrial cancer risk as high as 60%. That's why genetic counseling and screening can be extremely important, especially if there is a strong family history of colon or endometrial cancer at younger ages. However, genetics explain only a small fraction of cancer overall. Research now shows that roughly 90 to 95% of cancers are influenced more by environmental exposures, lifestyle habits, diet, and long-term inflammation than by inherited genes alone. That means many of the same factors linked to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and even some forms of neurodegeneration may also increase cancer risk. Chronic inflammation appears to sit at the center of many of these conditions. Inflammation acts almost like fuel poured onto a fire, making disease processes more aggressive and creating an environment where abnormal cells can thrive. This is why diet and lifestyle matter so much. And one of the most fascinating discoveries in recent years involves the gut microbiome. Scientists now understand that the trillions of bacteria living inside the digestive system influence far more than digestion alone. These bacteria affect metabolism, blood sugar balance, immune function, inflammation, and even hormone regulation. Inside the gut exists something researchers call the estrobolome. This system of bacteria helps process and recycle estrogen within the body. Think of it like a hormone management system that helps clear excess estrogen once it has done its job. When the microbiome is healthy and balanced, this system works efficiently. But when harmful bacteria begin to dominate, a condition known as dysbiosis develops. Dysbiosis increases inflammation and disrupts the estrobolome's ability to properly break down estrogen. As a result, excess estrogen may begin accumulating in the body instead of being removed. Higher estrogen levels combined with chronic inflammation create conditions that may increase the risk of abnormal growth within the endometrium. Over time, this combination may contribute to the development of endometrial cancer. This growing understanding of the gut hormone connection is changing how researchers think about women's health. A healthy microbiome may help support immune defenses, regulate hormones more effectively, lower inflammation, and potentially reduce the risk of reproductive cancers. And speaking of the immune system, modern cancer treatments are also beginning to harness the body's own defenses in powerful new ways. Immunotherapy works by activating the immune system so it can better recognize and attack cancer cells. In many ways, it's one of the most natural approaches to fighting cancer because it relies on your body's built-in protection systems. What's especially interesting is that scientists are discovering connections between gut bacteria and how well immunotherapy works. In one study involving cancer patients, researchers noticed that people who responded successfully to immunotherapy often shared certain beneficial gut bacteria, while patients who did not respond were missing those microbes. Some bacteria appear to strengthen the immune system's ability to fight tumors, helping the body respond more effectively to treatment. This is why researchers are now paying closer attention not only to cancer itself, but also to inflammation, nutrition, gut health, hormone balance, and the immune system together as one connected network. The more science learns about endometrial cancer, the clearer it becomes that prevention and early awareness matter tremendously. Paying attention to symptoms, supporting metabolic health, reducing chronic inflammation, improving gut health, staying physically active, and maintaining a balanced lifestyle may all play an important role in protecting long-term health. And while no lifestyle change can guarantee prevention, understanding how the body works gives women more power than ever before to take control of their health before disease has a chance to take hold. The encouraging news is that endometrial cancer can often be treated successfully, but the treatment approach depends heavily on how advanced the cancer is when it's discovered and how far it is spread throughout the body. Doctors divide cancer into stages because understanding the stage helps determine the best strategy for treatment. You've probably heard terms like stage 1 or stage 2 cancer before. These earlier stages usually mean the cancer is still confined to the organ where it began, in this case, the uterus. When endometrial cancer is caught at these stages, surgery is often extremely effective. In many cases, doctors perform a hysterectomy, which involves removing the uterus and sometimes the ovaries as well. If the cancer is completely contained there, removing those organs can potentially eliminate the disease entirely. Once cancer reaches stage 3, the situation becomes more complicated because it is usually spread into nearby pelvic lymph nodes. The lymphatic system acts almost like a drainage and filtering network throughout the body. Cancer cells can travel through this system and become trapped inside lymph nodes, where they may begin growing again. Even at stage 3, surgery often remains an important part of treatment, but doctors may also add radiation therapy to target cancer cells in the lymph nodes or chemotherapy to destroy cells that may still be circulating in the body. Stage 4. Endometrial cancer is when the disease has spread beyond the pelvic region into distant organs such as the lungs, liver, or other areas. Traditionally, stage 4 cancers were considered extremely difficult to treat, and for many years options were limited. But cancer care is changing rapidly. Modern oncology is moving away from the old one-size-fits-all approach. Today, treatment is becoming far more personalized. Instead of relying only on surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation, doctors are now studying the specific biology of each individual tumor to find the most effective therapy for that patient. This process begins by analyzing a sample of the cancer taken during surgery or biopsy. Scientists can test the tumor for genetic mutations, hormone receptors, and immune-related markers. These findings act almost like fingerprints, helping doctors match patients with therapies specifically designed for the unique characteristics of their cancer. For example, some endometrial cancers are heavily influenced by hormones like estrogen. In those cases, hormone-blocking therapies may help slow tumor growth. Other cancers carry certain molecular signatures or mutations, such as HER2 or PI3 kinase abnormalities. When doctors identify those targets, they may use specialized drugs designed to attack those exact pathways. There are also treatments called anti-angiogenic therapies. These therapies focus on cutting off the blood supply that tumors need in order to survive and grow. Since cancers depend on blood vessels for nutrients and oxygen, disrupting that supply can weaken the tumor significantly. But perhaps the most exciting development in cancer treatment today is immunotherapy. Immunotherapy works very differently from chemotherapy. Instead of directly poisoning cancer cells, it helps activate the body's own immune system so it can recognize and destroy cancer naturally. In many ways, it's one of the most advanced and biologically intelligent approaches medicine has developed. Chemotherapy attacks rapidly dividing cells, which means it can also damage healthy tissues throughout the body. Immunotherapy, on the other hand, focuses on empowering the immune system itself. Sometimes this means giving medications that wake up immune cells and stimulate them into action. Other times, doctors actually collect immune cells from the patient, strengthen and multiply them in a lab, then return those enhanced immune cells back into the body to fight the cancer more aggressively. For decades, immunotherapy sounded almost like science fiction. Researchers believed the immune system could eventually become one of the most powerful weapons against cancer, but it took years of research before those ideas became reality. Now, immunotherapy is transforming cancer treatment across multiple types of cancer, including endometrial cancer. One especially important type of immunotherapy is known as checkpoint inhibitors. Cancer cells are surprisingly clever. Many tumors learn how to hide from the immune system by activating certain proteins, including PD-1 and PD-L1. These proteins essentially send signals telling immune cells not to attack. It's almost like the cancer puts on camouflage so the immune system mistakes it for normal tissue. Checkpoint inhibitors remove that camouflage. Drugs like pembrolizumab and nivolumab are designed to block those signals. Once the tumor loses its protective shield, the immune system can finally recognize the cancer as a threat and begin attacking it directly. This approach has already shown promising results in some patients with endometrial cancer, and researchers believe immunotherapy will continue becoming a major part of future cancer care. That's why it's so important for patients to have conversations with their oncologists about these newer treatments. If someone is facing endometrial cancer, one of the most important questions they can ask is whether their tumor has been tested for immune markers like PD-1 or PD-L1 that could indicate a potential response to checkpoint inhibitors. Cancer treatment is evolving quickly, and patients deserve to know all available options. The future of oncology is increasingly focused on precision medicine, where treatments are customized based on the biology of the individual patient, rather than applying the exact same therapy to everyone. And there's another fascinating piece to this puzzle that brings us back to gut health. Scientists are now discovering that the gut microbiome may strongly influence how well immunotherapy works. Research suggests that patients with healthier gut bacteria often respond better to checkpoint inhibitors and other forms of immunotherapy. One bacteria attracting significant attention is called Akkermansia mucinifila. Studies involving cancer patients have found that individuals who responded successfully to immunotherapy frequently had higher levels of this beneficial microbe, while those who responded poorly often lacked it. This bacteria appears to help regulate metabolism, improve insulin sensitivity, support immune function, and even influence hormones involved in appetite and weight regulation. But perhaps most importantly in cancer care, it may strengthen the immune system's ability to respond to immunotherapy. That means gut health may play a much larger role in cancer treatment than researchers once believed. Because of this, some doctors are beginning to explore microbiome testing to better understand the bacterial balance inside the gut. While this area of medicine is still developing and not every physician routinely checks the microbiome yet, growing evidence suggests that maintaining a healthy gut ecosystem could become an important part of supporting cancer therapy in the future. Right now, microbiome testing is still a developing area of medicine, so not every doctor is familiar with it yet. But some functional medicine doctors and integrative oncologists already use these tests regularly. If your physician doesn't offer microbiome testing, it's still possible to research reputable companies online and order a gut microbiome test yourself. The important thing is making sure the test specifically checks for beneficial bacteria like Akkermansia mucinifila. There are also probiotic supplements designed to increase Akkermansia levels. Some high-quality formulations have already been studied in cancer-related research and appear capable of improving the balance of this important gut bacteria. The idea isn't that probiotics replace medical treatment, but rather that they may help strengthen the body's internal environment and support immune health alongside other therapies. Diet plays a major role here too. Certain foods naturally encourage the growth of Akkermansia and support overall gut health. This bacteria feeds on mucin, a protective substance produced in the gut lining. Interestingly, some foods stimulate the body to create more mucin, which in turn helps beneficial bacteria thrive. Foods rich in polyphenols called alligeitinins are especially useful for this. Pomegranates, dried cranberries, and Concord grapes are excellent examples. These foods help nourish the gut ecosystem, encourage healthier bacterial balance, and support the microbiome in ways that may ultimately strengthen immune function. This is where nutrition becomes incredibly powerful. Food is not simply fuel. It can directly influence inflammation, immunity, metabolism, and even how the body responds to cancer treatment. A healthy diet supports healthy bacteria. Healthy bacteria support the immune system. And a stronger immune system may improve the body's ability to respond to therapies like immunotherapy. That's why conversations about nutrition should absolutely be part of cancer care today. Modern research is showing that specific foods contain compounds capable of supporting the body's natural defense systems. They may not replace medications, but they can become another valuable tool that helps the body stay resilient during treatment. Lifestyle matters too. Sleep is incredibly important because the body performs much of its repair and recovery work during deep sleep. Chronic stress also affects inflammation, hormones, and immune function, which is why stress reduction becomes so valuable during illness. Exercise is another major factor. Even moderate physical activity has been shown to improve immune performance, reduce inflammation, and help patients tolerate treatments more effectively. I remember hearing something years ago during medical training from a gynecologic oncology mentor that stayed with me ever since. He once said, "No woman should ever die from endometrial cancer." At first, that sounded surprising, but his point was simple. If a woman has completed her family and carries a very high genetic risk or strong family history, preventive hysterectomy may be an option worth discussing with a doctor. Of course, that is an extremely personal decision and not something anyone should take lightly. It's not medical advice. But for women with significant inherited risk factors, it may be an important conversation to have with a gynecologist. When it comes to reducing cancer risk overall, diet remains one of the most powerful tools available. One of the best things you can do is eat more plant-based foods. Colorful vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, and whole grains provide fiber and polyphenols that feed beneficial gut bacteria and help reduce inflammation throughout the body. A healthier microbiome creates a healthier internal environment. Cruciferous vegetables are especially valuable. Foods like broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, arugula, and other leafy greens contain compounds called sulforaphanes. These natural bioactives have been linked to anti-inflammatory, immune-supporting, and even cancer-starving effects. They may help reduce blood vessel growth that tumors rely on, while also supporting metabolic health. Soy foods and legumes are another interesting category. Foods like tofu and edamame contain compounds called isoflavones, including genistein. Contrary to old misconceptions, these compounds do not appear to increase estrogen-related risk in the way many people once feared. In fact, they may actually help regulate estrogen activity and interfere with pathways cancers use to grow. Healthy fats matter as well. Replacing heavily processed fats with healthier options like extra virgin olive oil can help lower inflammation. High-quality olive oil is rich in polyphenols and monounsaturated fats that support heart health and may also help reduce cancer-promoting inflammation. That peppery taste in good olive oil is actually a sign of those beneficial compounds. Green tea and coffee also contain important antioxidants. Green tea provides catechins, while coffee contains chlorogenic acid. Both compounds help protect cells from oxidative stress and DNA damage, which are closely linked to cancer development. These beverages also contain natural compounds associated with anti-inflammatory and anti-angiogenic effects. At the same time, there are certain foods worth reducing as much as possible. Ultra-processed foods are a major concern. These are the packaged products filled with artificial preservatives, additives, flavorings, and ingredients most people don't even recognize. Many of these substances contribute to chronic inflammation, which can create conditions that favor disease progression over time. Sugary sodas are another issue because excess sugar promotes inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. Even diet sodas may create problems by disrupting the gut microbiome through artificial sweeteners. Since gut bacteria help regulate hormones and inflammation, damaging that balance can have wider effects throughout the body. Exercise deserves special attention too. Physical movement strengthens immune function and improves overall resilience. Even something as simple as a 30-minute walk after dinner can make a difference. Better movement often improves sleep quality, and better sleep helps the body recover and maintain a healthier microbiome. Stress management is equally important, especially for anyone facing a cancer diagnosis. Techniques like breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, regular movement, social support, laughter, and spending time with loved ones can all help reduce the burden of chronic stress on the body. Endometrial cancer is a serious disease, but early detection dramatically improves outcomes. And even when cancer is more advanced, medicine now has far more tools than ever before. Personalized therapies, targeted treatments, immunotherapy, lifestyle strategies, nutrition, and microbiome science are all beginning to work together in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. The goal is not only to attack the cancer itself, but also to strengthen the body's own defenses at the same time. Supporting gut health, lowering inflammation, improving metabolic health, and using food as part of an overall strategy may help create a stronger foundation for recovery and long-term wellness. If you found this information valuable, share it with someone who may benefit from hearing it. And stay connected with NanoNexus Science for more practical, science-based insights focused on health, wellness, and the latest breakthroughs shaping the future of medicine.